Hello everybody, it's Pineapple here, back with another video. So today I wanted to just have a ban list discussion, what the implications are, because I didn't get to do a reaction video. I was sitting down for round 2 of YCS Philly when the ban list dropped, so I obviously didn't get to make a reaction. But I do want to discuss, what these mean, because it's a very interesting ban list, both, what it means for the game in terms of what decks are going to be good, as well as, what it means going forward for decks' lifespans, because there are some implications here that I kind of don't like, but they're also for decks that I, didn't want to play against, so I'm kind of okay with it. But, monetarily wise, I'm not sure I like where that's headed. But we'll get into that as we get to it. But first up, Cyberstein. There is no reason for this card to still be legal. Cyberstein was never used in anything remotely fair or interesting. It was this dumb thing that lets you end on Exterio or like make Last Warrior or enabled some crappy combo that was never fun to play with or against, or was an FDK enabler. So happy to see it go. Good riddance. You won't be missed. So long, Cyberstein. Yeah, there's nothing to say here. This is just another degenerate DM card that should have been put out to pasture long ago. So nothing much to say here, but goodbye. You won't be missed. Love to see that Max C is still banned. Fuck that card. Stay banned forever, never come back. Disappointed to see, Heart Horror is still on here. I see no reason for this card to still be on the Forbidden and Limited list. Orcust is a neat deck. It's a neat engine. Bring it back, Konami. That's all I have to say about that. Moving on to the links. Scarecrow. I don't like the playstyle of Super Heavy Samurai. I think that it's a deck that aims to make a bunch of fuck-off negates. It is just an infinite combo with 12 one-card starters that puts up as many negates as humanly possible. It plays a bajillion hand traps and non-engine. I'm happy to see the deck go. I don't like that what it implies, which is that the lifespan of decks Konami will just cut short. This deck was legal for, one major tournament and Nats. I don't think that's fair to the people who bought this deck, to play it. Not that I think I spoke to a lot of Super Heavy Samurai players at the YCS, and none of them were particularly happy to be playing this deck. But, I don't like what this implies, moving forward for like, oh, Konami's going to hit these decks like 3 weeks after they come out. I really don't like that. But I am happy to see this deck go. It was never fun to play with or against. But, the bigger implication is just that Konami will hit things way too early in their lifespan, which I don't like. But I do think Super Heavy Samurai as an engine is going to be splashable. Still, the cards are incredibly powerful. Obviously, you don't get to just do things for free, but I do believe, if I remember correctly, Bike is still like a one-card. It's still a one-card Baron, but you have to commit to your normal, if I remember correctly. It definitely hurts the deck a lot. But again, I'm not losing too much sleep over this deck or this engine. Because it was just such a combo fest. Diablosis the Mind Hacker, good riddance and goodbye. This card was so toxic. There was nothing that was enjoyable about having to buy multiple copies of like a Zeus, a Baron, whatever you just needed to combo, because Diablosis would just rip it. Additionally, it would mill your deck, and it was super frustrating. Just nothing fun about this card. It also enabled Kashtira to play, what was it? They would also like make use EEV to like, because it was a dark. Just hate this card. You will not be missed. Rest in piss, bozo. But the bigger implication is that Kashtira cannot do a lock 5, which means that their default play is most likely going to just be a Rise Heart Pass, which is hurt also because they limited it. But we'll get to that later. I really like this ban. It was a pretty obvious hit that was coming. I don't think that anyone was really, surprised by this. I had it penciled in for the last, 3 months. This hit was obviously coming. But, yeah, good riddance to Diablosis. It means that Cash can no longer do, lock 5s or even the lock 3, which turns into, the lock 5. It means that, if they want to like keep extending into Nibiru, they're gonna have to like, you know, make red eyes flare metal dragon, which is just so much worse than Diablosis. Yeah, it's a significant hit to cash. That's what I have to say. Good riddance to this super toxic card that did so much frustrating things for both your wallet, how you played the game. Just good riddance. That's all I have to say. Nothing limited in spells, of course, but Point of the Red Lotus. I think this is just a generic hit. I see it as a hit to lab because I play lab, but if they were trying to hit lab, if that was their intention, if they ever give us the details, this was the wrong hit to make to Labyrinth. Lab gets out of this ban list untouched, but this card, yeah, good riddance. Just ripping a card out of your opponent's hand, you get the hand knowledge. You get to just see what's in there. It's such an immensely powerful card, especially as a one of that you would search off the rust. Just so frustrating. A Point of the Red Lotus, good riddance. No one wants to see this card. It was never fun to have it flipped on you. Just immensely frustrating. So long and good riddance. That's all I have to say. Expulsion. This is a really good hit. I would have preferred them to also hit Gimmick Puppet of Nightmare just so that like the lingering floodgate is gone, because it makes Droplet a lot stronger if they have to use like Disciple or Ido. Those monsters are so much easier to get rid of if you're playing like something like Forbidden Droplet, Dark Hole. There are ways to deal with those monsters, whereas like Gimmick Puppet, if they go for Sanctifier, they can like still like lock you if you don't draw like the exact right interruption. But it means that they have to essentially commit pretty much entirely to just like Dusk Dragon and Sanctifier, which I'm completely fine with. Like if that's what they want to play with, whatever. I don't think it resolves the outstanding issues of Branded, which are that it dies to Ash. They have to play into Nib to get to the Gimmick Puppet lock. Good riddance to Expulsion. This was another hit that I had penciled in, just another super toxic card. It's very nice to see that now like they can't just turbo out Gimmick Puppet. They basically have to commit their entire combo to making the Expulsion lock. And with the, I would argue, first or second best deck in Lab, not giving any amount of craps about Gimmick Puppet of Nightmare, I think that Branded is significantly hit here. But moving on to our good friends in the limited section, Blaster. You could bring all the Dragon Rulers back to one. This unhit was obviously coming, especially with how it was unbanned in the OCG Master Duel. The writing was on the wall that Blaster was coming back. Happy to see it. The Dragon Rulers are cool cards. I'm happy to see them back in the game. I would have preferred them all to be back, but I'm happy with Blaster. Maybe you play them in Rescue Ace. I have no idea. I think they don't fit into Dragon Link because they're not like Chaos monsters, but they're cool to see back in the game. Happy to see them. It's not going to change anything, but very happy to see Blaster back. Circular. Mathmech is one of the decks that I think is represents a lot of the problems with modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically Cyberstein decks as a general concept. Their goal is always either to just make a board that you just can't break turn one, or it's just to access update OTK. And Circular is the main culprit. It represents the entirety of update access OTK. It represents the entire Mathmech combo to terahertz to everything. You won't be missed, Circular. You did too much for Cyverse in general. And I can say with a certainty that I will not miss this card. I hate Mathmech. It's such a boring, linear telegraph deck, and it's a lot of what I dislike about modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So I'm happy to see this card go to 1. Goodbye. Cypher Gear Gamma. If they wanted to put it to 1, I would have preferred them to just straight up ban it. But this does effectively kill Gamma. But let's, I guess the one Cyframe players still play Gamma. But so long, Gamma. I did not enjoy the Gamma minigame at YCS Philly. It was so annoying to just have to wait to commit to a monster effect before your opponent puts a guy on board. It's so frustrating that if you do and you get punished, it just means they loop you for another card or they make Baron for free. Just so frustrating. This hit was surprising to me. I didn't think they would actually have the cojones to do it. Glad they did, though. I am sad. This is kind of a hit to Lab, because you can't protect your welcomes from Ash reliably anymore. But, I'll take it over having to play the Gamma minigame. So, yeah, good riddance. Danglong. I'm pretty happy with Danglong being unlimited. I've been saying that you can bring this card back for a long time, especially with how it's been in Master Duel and done effectively nothing. This is a boon to Sword Soul, which I'm totally fine with. Sword Soul as a deck is a deck that has never really done anything unfair outside of Protoss exactly. The extra deck stuff is not what it was making Sword Soul unfair ever. It was always Protoss. So giving Sword Soul just a like Synchro 5 worm to go into off of like your Tenyis and stuff is totally fine in my eyes. Welcome back, Denlong, I suppose. But yeah, I'm very happy to see this card back. It could have been brought back a while ago, I think, in my opinion. I think it's also a boon to Dinosaur, right? You play this in Dinosaur for some combos, and you know, with that, like they're releasing new Dino support literally tomorrow, because Wildest Survivors comes out, I believe. And so yeah, this is a pretty good boon. I think it's a neat combo tool that they can bring back. But moving on to Kashtira Arise Heart, I really like this limit. I obviously would have liked to see Birth get limited, but I'm super happy that Arise Heart is limited. At first I was really like kind of annoyed that they didn't hit Birth, but Arise Heart does so much, and it's just such a like meta warping boss. I think it's comparable to Masterpiece in that regard, but this one is like macro instead of towers. Um, but if you can beat it, you know, you really just win the game. Especially more now so with how Kashtira is just going to be a Rise Heart pass. I'm very happy to see this card be put to one. It makes getting to a second one very hard. So I'm very pleased to like see that it's going to be very difficult for Kashtira to recycle a Rise Heart. They're going to have to really work for that. So yeah, I'm very happy to see Rise Heart be put to one. Pearly Delicious Memory. I'm kind of annoyed about this one. I don't think that Pearly is a super unfair deck. Obviously, I think the draw 6, like 8 mat Noir combo was pretty stupid. But I think hitting a deck 3 weeks into its lifespan after it hasn't seen a ton of success is pretty not good, especially with how expensive Pearly was. I really don't like this hit. Not because of I like Pearly or something, just because I don't like what it implies that Konami's going to hit decks way early in their lifespan, especially because this hit is so devastating. It destroys the consistency. You can't reliably get to Plump with Lily. Just truly awful. You can't get to Delicious off of My Friend. Like, just this is a brutal hit to Pearly. I would argue that it is rendered essentially unplayable because you cannot consistently perform getting to Plump. Very disappointed to see Harpy's Feather Duster is still legal. I hate this card. Please ban it. But that's just me personally. Naturia Sacred Tree. I'm not sure why they made this hit. Naturia Runic is a deck that I think has 1 foot out the door already, or 1 foot in the grave, however you want to say it. And I think hitting it is a little over too much. Putting it to 1 definitely hurts their grind. It means that like they don't have like multiple ways to send it and get to like blessing and stuff. But I don't really like runic decks, so I'm kind of fine with it. Naturia was never a deck that's like, oh yeah, I love playing against Naturia with Nat Beast and Barkion. Like I'm not losing any sleep over that, So good riddance to that, but whatever. Sacred Tree to 1 is, a pretty significant hit to their consistency, ceiling, grind, etc. So, so long. Semi-limits, there's a lot of semi-limits. Orange Light could go to 3 tomorrow. I guess congratulations to whatever, Drytron players, I guess, if you're playing Herald still in there. I don't know if you are, but kudos to you. Ooh, Kashtira Unicorn, this is such a non-hit. Oh no, now you only have the 4 copies of Planet to find it, and the 2, so you only have 6 of your 1-card starters to get to it. Plus, like, Theosis and any monster. This is a non-hit. This is oh yeah, we know Kashtira is great. I would have preferred to see Birth here, but whatever. It's something at least. They know Kashtira is a problem. There'll probably be more hits on whenever the next list is. Next up, Lightning Storm. I'm kind of annoyed about this. On the side deck, when you played Lightning Storm, you were mostly only going to play 2 Lightning Storm anyway, and then you were going to play a Harpy's Feather Duster. So I'm not losing too much sleep over, oh boy, Storm to 2. Like, but I guess it's something to like hit these ridiculous like sweeper cards. I'm not sure how I feel about Lightning Storm at 2, but it just feels MBT said it best in that it's a kind of out of touch hit where they're hitting these dumb, ridiculous out cards that are just like hitting the weakest one is just a little out of touch. Runic Fountain, you were mostly only playing 2 Fountain anyways. I'm not overtly, chuffed about this. I would have preferred something like uh, Fountain to like 1 because I think Fountain should have a hard once per turn, but whatever, it's something. I don't think Runic decks were doing much right now, but whatever. So it's something at least. I don't like Runic, but I don't think it was doing anything particularly horrible this format. So it's a little weird to see it hit on here, but whatever. Engage to 2. Congratulations, Striker players. Now, if your first engage gets crowed, you don't have to, cry because the game is over. But that said, this isn't going to change anything. The issue with Striker is that, it's a control deck that aims to go second, that cannot play reliably under any floodgates. It loses to things like EEV. It's still Striker, and it still has all the outstanding problems of Striker. Engage, I guess, insulates it more, and sometimes you're going to get sacked when your opponent goes Engage effect, add Widow Anchor, draw. It's another Engage. But whatever, I'm fine with Striker. It is what it is. Sprite Starter, you knew there were Sprite hits coming with just how well it had performed in the previous format. If they were going to hit all these other decks from the previous format, they were going to hit Sprite. Starter to 2 is something, I guess. It hurts their grind more. They can only go for like starter twice. So whatever. To 3, Steam the Cloak, completely irrelevant. Gen X Ally Birdman, completely irrelevant. Samsara Lotus, it's an FDK tool, but I guess they're just saying, like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, no one's going to resolve this FDK, so that's completely fine by me. Quick Fix with Master Plan still banned. This doesn't matter at all. Recital Starling. I think Recital Starling at 2 was fine. I'm not sure I love it at 3. It means that, like, if you pop the first one before they get their search, like, they can just go into another one and get the search anyways. Like, I kind of liked it at 2. I thought that I don't have a lot of love for Bird Up, if you can't tell. I really just like Bird Up. Just a lot of bad memories of that deck. So I'm not happy about this one, but Bird Up is fine now, especially with Simorgh still banned, which it should stay banned, by the way. Draco Face Off, I guess it's a tool for Pendulum. Multi-roll to 3. I think multi-roll's like what? Like too slow. Like now, like I haven't seen a Striker pilot playing multi-roll in a long time, but maybe multi-roll to 3 will change that. We're almost back to full power Striker, but I don't think that's enough to compete in this modern era. But that said, the meta implications, of course, I think Kashtira is still a very strong deck. It's a deck that, Arise Heart Pass is just probably enough unless they have a Kaiju sometimes, like super powerful boss monster. I think that Labyrinth is the real winners of this ban list. They lost exactly a pointer, which a lot of lab pilots I've seen have cut already. I personally have cut it already. I don't think that a pointer was fast enough. I think he would rather go for EEV. So Lab has lost nothing. Their most frustrating matchup, which was Branded, because interacting with Branded is like really weird outside of like Dimensional Barrier Turbo. I think Branded got away pretty scot-free. I don't think that they've resolved the outstanding issues of their deck, which are that Ash wins is pretty much an FDK unless they have like a way to Quem. And now they're vulnerable to Nibiru. But that said, I'm fine with where the list is. I think Lab is probably a top 1 to 2 deck, followed by like Kashtira and Branded. I don't like that, there's going to be a lot of sweepers in this format, but, it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.